What up, 208? Good to see everybody. Chance is back after a night off.
Hey, yo!
Let's, lots to talk about. Lots of sit starts, players. We had a great time last night. Hopefully, you guys are going to get locked in. Come join us, man. We're going to talk some ball. Love talking football. Playoffs are about to start for high school, off for us. But it's fantasy football tonight. Let's roll. Lots of fun last night. We had a number of viewers asking questions. Justin and I were able to rip some things off, but it was good. We're gonna have another great night tonight, and let's just start off with it right now. Chance,
what's going on?
Yeah, what's up, everyone? How we doing today? Oh man, okay. So a couple things news-wise. So I'm sure yesterday you guys hit some news as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Did you guys
worth refreshing if we need to?
Yeah. You guys, I'm sure, went over the Deontay Johnson trade and Diggs being out for the season. Okay.
Yeah, I do want to get your opinion on that Deontay Johnson trade, Chance. Just while you brought it up, what's your thoughts on that? We both thought it was interesting. We want your take on it.
I think that it's really bad for all of the receiving fantasy options in Baltimore. I think it's a super smart move by Baltimore. I mean, I think they're just going to go out and get more receivers that are good route runners and can be target hogs. And I think everyone else gets a dip in fantasy, but that's great for Lamar. He has so many receivers that are creative route runners that can get open. I mean, Bateman's your down the field guy, but I think Zay Flowers and Deontay Johnson really match up well as far as receivers go. And then you got Likely and Andrews.
Yeah, I think you crushed it. Basically, just echoing what we said last night. Good for Baltimore, bad for fantasy. So, and it's interesting. They got him for nothing. So I don't understand what the Panthers are doing, but whatever.
It's Baltimore and the Eagles always do this. They trade for a guy, give up like a fifth and a sixth. They do well, and they get paid a bunch of money, and then they get a compensatory pick back. So
yeah,
it's like
super smart.
They always do it.
Yep.
Yeah. So Joe Flacco, right? Anthony Richardson benched. Okay, which I know, Matt, super sad for you. You know, all those
a bad move.
Oh, rough
on my part.
So Anthony Richardson benched, and then Shane Steichen came out and said Joe Flacco will be the quarterback going forward. So as of right now, the plan is a benching of AR permanently. Okay, at least through this season. So what do you guys think? Did you guys talk about AR being benched yesterday?
We did a little bit. He's fully droppable.
Yeah, super droppable.
It's not just his performance. I think there's some underlining stuff going on as a coach, and what you're seeing outside in, something's not clicking for a guy to leave a game because he's tired. Tells me a lot about the individual. Yeah. So either he's not committed or something, but I don't want anything to do with him. He's 100% droppable. You might hold on to him in your dynasty league, if you, or even maybe want to trade him, but redraft, you can drop him. He's done this year.
Big boost to Pittman and Josh Downs. Huge.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's a great time to go trade for Pittman. I think Pittman would be a great trade for guy. If he's in your league or is available. If you could go get Josh Downs, he's gonna eat too.
Yes.
Really well. They should both be really good. Maybe 80
absolutely
for you guys that played super deep. He has a really good separation to score. And like getting open score, whatever you want to call it. I can't remember the official name, but he has a really good score. He just doesn't play a ton of snaps to make it meaningful. So maybe he gets the ball a little bit more.
Maybe. Bryce Young has been announced the starter for the second straight week. So they're going to keep Andy Dalton benched, but the Panthers are going to start Bryce Young against the Saints this weekend. Dalton's still kind of a rehab thing, but I think this is also a bummer for all Panthers players.
Yeah. Any update on Thielen?
Not that I've seen. Not that I've seen yet.
Okay. He intrigues me a little bit because of his connection with
Young.
the quarterback. So yeah, with Young. Right. So it's potential. Certainly like Leggett there, but Thielen is somebody short-term possible. So
yeah, I want to get Chance's opinion on this real quick if we can, because we didn't get a chance. We talked about this a little bit. What were your thoughts on Xavier Leggett against the Broncos?
I think he looked okay. I mean, he had an awesome catch on Pat Surtain, but like sometimes that just happens. But I really think they drafted him to be their downfield threat, and I really think that he has every chance to explode. Yeah, I think he's a great get right now because it's going to be him. It could be Adam Thielen, but he's still like he's going to come back. He's not healthy. He could be on the trade block. And then is it Jalen Cocker that is their other Cooker?
Coker? It's C-O-C-E-R. I don't know if it's Coker or whatever.
Yeah, I don't.
He had a ton of targets.
A ton of targets. And, you know, like that could be a couple of things. That could be since Bryce Young has been, relegated to second team. Maybe he's built a relationship with Jalen. And so that could be a thing going forward. He's 6'3", 213. He's not a small little receiver. And from the great college of Holy Cross. You know what I mean? So you just never know. Those small school guys, they're big time. A few more things. Saints are optimistic Derek Carr will play week 9. So Derek Carr looking to come off of out of his injury. Tyrone Tracy is in concussion protocol. That's a really big one to watch this week because it's probably pretty likely that he hit his head, he was taken off the field, but we hadn't really seen a whole lot of reports until the day about his play time. I think it's important to bring up because he's their backfield now. I think he has put Singletary to bed, which bold prediction on my part. I'm so glad it's come true. I've been on that Tyrone Tracy train.
Been on it for a while.
And I was a big believer he would usurp Singletary, and I'm glad to see after 20 touches, I feel like he has. He could play this week, but it's less than likely, and you just need to monitor how he goes through the concussion protocol. It'll probably be a game time decision.
And it's tough because he's an early game player, so
yeah,
it makes it tough.
Travis Etienne is looking good. The coaches are planning for Etienne to play this week, so he should be back. I guess we'll see. We'll have a Tank Big conversation possibly. We can see what your guys' thoughts are on Etienne coming back. So that's all I got for news.
Perfect. I will add Metcalf did not practice today, but is most likely to practice tomorrow, and most likely will play this week. So just keep that in mind. Mm-hmm. Well, shoot, that's the news. Thanks for that chance. And there's not a ton going on, but there's enough. But hey, let's get right into the meat and potatoes of this show, and that's Benjamin Stardom. Let's roll. We're week 9. I can't believe it's week 9 already.
That's crazy. How time flies.
If you're joining us, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. We love talking ball with you guys. It's so much fun. So here we roll. Starting off, and this order goes Justin, Chance, and myself for players here. So Justin, you got Jones. Why are you starting Jones this week?
This offense is a very interesting offense because I feel like they have so many good skill guys with Wendell Robinson, Malik Neighbors, and now Tyrone Tracy emerging. I think it's a division game. It feels like Washington just gets in these weird, wonky games. I think Daniel Jones can at least give you something. I try to pick from the bottom of the barrel. He's 26th ranked right now at Fantasy Pros, so I really try to be bold with my stardom and sit-ems. But I think he could be serviceable. He's had 3 top 12 weeks. Again, you hope he brings some rushing. He did play against Pittsburgh last week, which we all know Pittsburgh probably has a top 5 defense. Hopefully he gets some running ability against this Washington team. And then he has Carolina, Tampa, Dallas. He has a good, nice little mixture coming up these next 5 weeks with the bye included. So I really like Daniel Jones this week in a game that I think gets weird.
I like that.
Yep. Me too. I like that pickup a lot. Chance, Bo Nix is a guy that you're looking at this week. Ben, we talked about Bo Nix a lot. Every week we see him improve.
Yeah, and there were a lot of guys. I just know that when we talk about stardoms, you're going to start your studs, and that's pretty obvious. But sometimes, like those streamers, if you started Bo Nix last week, I hope you held on to him this week. He is playing the Ravens, and they have a good defense, but they are definitely like a pass funnel team. They do a great job of shutting down the run, and if they get up, which I don't know, as a Broncos fan, I'm optimistic that we can kind of limit their offensive productivity, but that's how the Ravens have played. They get up and they force quarterbacks that are playing against them to play catch up and sling the rock all around the yard. We've already seen Nix have 50 attempts in a game. And if that's the same situation here, he is going to produce for fantasy. Another couple of fun facts for Bo Nix, right? For your month of October, which I know we had Williams and Jaden Daniels this last weekend and the Hail Mary, and everyone is so excited about Jaden Daniels, which is super fair. But quietly in the month of October, Bo Nix led all rookie passers in touchdowns with 7, passing touchdown to interception ratio 7-1. He led them in passing yards at 870, rushing touchdowns at 2, and wins tied for first with 3 wins. So quietly in the month of October, he has been the best rookie quarterback over a 4-game span. So, I think I'm really optimistic with him throwing the ball that much that he's going to put up good numbers even against Baltimore.
Yep, no, I agree. And again, they're ranked 30th against the quarterback fantasy points per game. So Baltimore is not as good against the quarterback in that position as other positions for sure. I'm rolling with my guy Caleb Williams as a bounce back. Now I don't know. He's ranked 12 or 11, I think, this week. He didn't have a very good outing. He's 29 last week. I really feel like it was the Bears being the Bears. Bears do dumb crap sometimes, and I love them to death. And it was an overlooked game, thinking, oh yeah, we could do whatever. They were missing their top safety, and I don't know what it was. Lack of discipline. I can tell you the coach drove me crazy when he made the comment of the play before didn't matter. And anybody who's coached football whatsoever knows that the play right before the Hail Mary mattered because he got him closer to the goal line. So dumb comment in his part, here nor there. But great week for a bounce back for Williams against the Cardinals, who are 25th in that position. And hopefully the Bears are hungry. If you watch Caleb Williams when that play was happening, he just turned and walked off the field, didn't yell, didn't do nothing. I like that mentality. I do believe he'll try to get that offense laser focused. So we'll see how it goes. I like him. Get him in there for sure. Go ahead, Chance.
Matt, I just wanted to ask, since we didn't get to talk yesterday, how did you feel as a Bears fan watching that game? How was that?
It wasn't so much the Hail Mary. It was the entire play. That we should have dominated against their defense, and we just didn't. It was very, lackadaisical feel. Swift had a good game, but everybody else was mediocre. I'm like, wait, we didn't try. Like, we thought we could win that game with doing minimal effort, and it bit us in the can.
Yeah, and Swift has had quite a few good games in a row. Remember when I said you should trade for him, and I just got absolutely crapped on by you two? You're like, don't trade for Swift. Who would do that? And he's had a month of great production.
You did call that out. You called out the lack of the running defenses that they're facing. This might be his last week, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Just understand that. But that one's more to come for sure.
Be prepared.
Free Roshan.
No kidding. QB sits. Justin, you've got Darnold on the docket.
I do. So there's a few things with the Viking situation right now. So Sam Darnold, I feel like, has had a rough go of it the past couple games. His hot start, so he's been quarterback 13, quarterback 16, plays against this Indianapolis defense, who I think is underrated. They've only allowed 30 points once this year. They've allowed less than 23 times. I think they're a very underrated defense. Okay, two things are going against the Vikings right now. I know Addison has done nothing this year at all, but it seems like there are some reports that he's looking to get shipped out. The rumor I saw was the Patriots on Twitter today. He seems unhappy, whatever it is, as well as the Vikings lost probably their second or third best offensive player, Christian Darrisaw, and Matt hit on that. He tore his ACL. He's out for the week. So now they're breaking in a new left tackle, which is tough going against DeForest Buckner. Leatu Latu has looked very good these past few weeks. I think the Colts are I don't think they're going to sling the ball around like crazy. I think they're relying on Jonathan Taylor and hopefully win this game like 20-14, 21-17. That's kind of where you're looking at. Again, I think this offense starts to slow down a little bit. You start to see maybe Sam Darnold show who he really is, and maybe that's just an average to above average quarterback instead of the quarterback 4 or 5 that he had those first few weeks.
Mm-hmm. No, certainly get it. And again, kind of going up against a tough Colts defense, who's been better of late for sure. Chance, you have Mr. Love.
I do.
This week.
I do. Jordan Love. So just remember, Jordan Love, he has a groin injury that, I mean, he got kicked out of, he if you watch the play against Jacksonville, you could tell that it was hurt once he got hurt, and then he bowed out and Willis came in. But those groin injuries, especially in somebody like Jordan Love, who is a great pocket passer, but is able to use his legs really well for fantasy. He's a sneaky mobile quarterback. But coming off of that injury against Detroit, I just caution for Jordan Love. If you have another streaming option, I think that's a great idea. Even though Detroit lost Aiden Hutchinson, they are still a really aggressive defense. And Sam Darnold, when he played against them, they did a really good job against Sam Darnold, who'd been slinging the rock all over the place. They really shut down Dak for most all of those quarters when they played against the Cowboys. The Lions are really turning into one of those teams that they're just such a good defense, top to bottom. They're not really a run funnel or a pass funnel. That added to Jordan Love and the re-injury risk of his groin, he makes me nervous, and I would sit him this week if you have another option.
Can I ask you a quick question, Chance?
Yeah, axe it.
Would you start him or Trevor Lawrence?
That's tough. That's tough. I would probably still start Love because we all know his receiving options are so much better. So even if he doesn't have a ton of mobility, like he still has the ability to get the ball to playmakers who could score for him on any down. Trevor Lawrence, who you throwing to? Brian Thomas Jr. is still, kind of banged up from this last weekend, and Christian Kirk is hurting out. Like I don't know who. Evan Ingram, baby, let's go. Throw the ball hard to Evan Ingram.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. My guy, DeMarco Murray. Wow, where'd that come from? Kyler Murray.
Oh, what a fantasy blast! What a fantasy
I know
blast!
What a throwback. So understand where Kyler is. Kyler's ranked number 9 this week against the Bears. Bears are number 2 in that quarterback against quarterback fantasy points criteria. Their ranking. Kyler's coming off the best game of the year, 307 for 2 TDs against Miami. When you look back at what Kyler has done against better defenses, it's right around the 200 mark and maybe a touchdown. So he's got 2 tough weeks. He's got the Bears this week, New York Jets next week. I'm not saying you shouldn't start him. I'm just saying temper your expectations. If you have somebody else that you'd like to start, Chance will probably like me saying this. I'm probably okay starting Bo Nix over Kyler Murray this week. So just understand that it's that close to me. So I'm okay sitting him. You're probably rolling him out there. I am in another league, but just temper your expectations with this Bears defense that should be hungry for sure.
Yeah.
Should be.
We got a quick question here. It's a good time to pause. If someone asked for Jefferson and Jameis to get Lamar in a superflex, would you do it? Daniels is my other QB, and my other wide receivers are neighbors, Dante, Waddle, and Dell. Chance, I'll let you take the crack one of this.
I'm just curious. So you have Jefferson and Jameis, and you would be receiving Lamar?
I think he has Lamar.
Okay. If you could, to me, I'm on the side of Jefferson and Jameis in this one, because in a superflex, I think Jameis Winston is going to still come in and really sling the ball around. I wouldn't be afraid of Jameis Winston as a quarterback at all. We've seen him be fantasy gold. And then you're on top of that, you're getting Justin Jefferson. He just says he's getting Lamar.
He's getting Lamar.
Yeah. See, I again, that doesn't change my answer. I land on the Jefferson Jameson side of that. So if you have Jefferson and Jameis Winston, that's kind of where I'd stay. I really think that Jameis is going to be a very competent fantasy quarterback moving forward.
I'm going to let Justin, you answer that, because I'm going to tag on to what Chance just said.
This is tough. I think my answer is if it's Dynasty and it's Superflex, I would probably go Lamar. Man, this is tough. This is a tough question.
Yeah.
Like, if this is a trade, this is a good trade for both sides.
And I don't know what the other side has.
Yeah, but if you have a wide receiver crew of Neighbors, Waddle, Dell, and Jefferson, good night. Like, that's a lot of targets. Like, Nico's still out. Stephon Diggs is out. Hopefully Dell figures it out. I'm super high on Waddle. I don't know what Deontay's going to be, but, like, one of those guys is your flex starter. Like, and you have Jameis, who, like, I know he doesn't have the rushing upside that Lamar does, but, like Chance says, like, he doesn't care if he throws interceptions. They're going to keep throwing the ball, and they're not going to bench him. Like, they're going to roll with him. I don't think they'll go back to DTR. I mean, Voldemort's out. Like, he's done for the year. So, like, I'm probably with Chance on this.
Yeah, this is simple. This is Chance. You're 100% right. You break down this trade. I don't care about Waddle or Deontay. Those are a moot point. I still like Dell a lot. I like Neighbors a lot. So really, what you're giving up is Lamar, right? For you're giving up Jefferson and Jameis for Lamar. Nope. You're getting too much value with those other two. I would keep it. They got to give you more. You'd have to give up more to get Lamar, but I would still keep Jefferson and Jameis. Jefferson and Jameis to me is the right one to get.
There's not a crazy gap between Jameis and Lamar, like, quarterback wise, but man, it's like Justin Jefferson is consistent and he scores a ton of points. It's just hard to find that in fantasy where they're scoring 15 points to 20 points every week and it's consistent. It's just hard to find.
See, KP's got it 100%. Thanks, KP, for watching. Hey, let's get moving, rolling on to our RB stardoms. Let's roll with that. Justin, your guy Bigsby. I am interested in what you're telling me after we heard about the ETN news.
So, I mean, I'm just gonna piggyback on to Chance. Okay, so everybody's out. They just lost their number one, or maybe both their number ones in Brian Thomas. I don't know if he's gonna play. Sounds like it's pretty bad. Christian Kirk is done. Like I said, they just traded their left tackle away, which is tough. Like, are they going to pass the ball more? I don't know. Hamstrings are tough. Just understand that, guys. When running backs, wide receivers, those skill guys are coming back from hamstrings, then it's very tough to just give them the full load right away. Tank Bigsby has already shown he's a dude. He ran for 126 on New England, which was a very good team. I get it with Green Bay. He still had 18 for 78. Man, if he would have gotten the end zone, man, you're like, sweet. He had a 14-point day. Still catching the ball well. I think he's the guy. And I just have a weird gut feeling that Travis Etienne gets traded to the Cowboys. Just a weird feeling.
Really? Well, that's super interesting.
I think he gets traded. It makes a ton of sense. Let's get off of him before his contract year. You're not going to pay him. Take Bigsby looks like a guy.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Like it. Eagles are tough against the run, but roll him out there and see what happens. Chance Connor against the Bears this week.
And I just want to piggyback off of you on this with Kyler Murray as your sit of the week. The Bears have really become this run funnel defense, right? Like, they have great lockdown cornerbacks. They're great in the secondary. It's really hard for teams to throw on them, like you were saying, with all the stats for Kyler Murray. And so really easy to allow James Conner to really just run the ball. The Bears defense is still allowing 4.5 yards a carry for running backs, and they've allowed over 10 plus yard explosive plays this season, which leads the NFL. So those are both areas that James Conner is very, very effective at. He's a great yards per carry guy, and he currently has 12 explosive runs on the season. So he matches up great with that. I think he's RB12 on the season. Like, he's been such a sneaky great pickup, and a guy that I look back and I say, why didn't I just draft him? Because I knew he was good last year, and he's good again this year. I think he's a great start against the Bears.
That's fair. That's fair. I do apologize for my guy here, Brown. They're not playing he is on the Bengals. They're playing Las Vegas. So it's like, wait a minute, I can't play. He's playing against practice squad. So here's my thing with Brown. Brown is routinely getting a ton of carries, right? He's getting the last 4 games, 12, 10, 15, 12. Against very suspect defenses, he's averaging very, very good. 5.3, 8.9, 5.3. Against the better defenses like Baltimore, Cleveland, much, much less. Philly last week, he was only 2.7, but it's Las Vegas. They're not good. I'm expecting him to have around, probably 10 to 12, 10 to 15 carries, probably in that 60, 70, tops 80 yards. He does need to get a rushing touchdown to be very up there towards the top. So don't expect a lot from him. But in a pinch, maybe as an RB2, he'll be fine for you. We don't know what the Bengals are, other than their defense is atrocious. So they have to score points on offense. The poor Bengals are.
That's about it.
Yeah. So pretty much it. So, but I do like Brown this week if you need him. Moving on to our RB situms. Jacobs with the Lions. I kind of get that after how many carries? 25 carries last week, Justin. So
20, yeah,
and he's a little banged up.
Yeah, so he has an ankle. They weren't very specific on what it is. If it's the ankle sprain, it's a high ankle sprain. Again, he had 27 touches. Going against Detroit, we've already touched on that defense. They're very good, especially on the interior. I get they lost Aiden Hutchinson, and then Dan Campbell. If you watched his interview, he hinted at they might be trading for somebody. Is that Max Crosby? Is that Myles Garrett? Do they go huge? I mean, why not? I think the Lions are really the only team that can probably beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, realistically. Again, I think they're a good team. Maybe this game gets out of hand quick, like the Lions seem to do to every team in the NFL, and they kind of put Emmanuel Wilson in. And who was the other guy that played for them? It wasn't Wilson. It was Chris Brooks, got 4 carries. I think we might see some different guys. I think he's going to play a decent amount, but just temper your expectations.
Yeah, agreed. It's tough. I don't know how much work they're going to give him to after 25 carries, a little bit beat up, but I agree with you. Chance Stevenson this week. You've got as a sit. I was thinking about maybe starting him this week, so I'm interested in your take.
Okay, I'm so glad that you might be on the other side of me. So here's my thing. Ramondre Stevenson last week, okay, he had a decent fantasy. You're like, oh my gosh, he scored me 22 points. That's awesome. Yeah, but then you look at his stats. He got into the end zone twice. He had 20 attempts on the ground. 20 attempts. You know how many yards he gained in 20 attempts? He didn't even break 50.
It was 40, a lot.
48 yards on 20 attempts. Now, he's playing 81% of snaps. That's great usage. And you're like, oh my gosh, 20 snaps. That's also really good. Tennessee's a sneaky good defense. And I know Ramondre last week, you were probably really stoked with what he was able to do. I still don't think he's a great running back. And I think that even with what we saw, his efficiency is really low. So unless he gets into the end zone, you're going to be really disappointed with him. Drake May is trending towards playing currently. And I think if you get Drake May in there, Tennessee also has Willie Snead, a great secondary. But I think you're going to see them try to have Drake May air it out a little bit. They won that last game with literally zero offense. I think they had 250 yards total.
It wasn't a lot.
Not a lot. It was the most embarrassing loss for the Jets ever, statistically, because no team's ever lost allowing the other opponent 250 yards total and some other stupid stat. It was such a bash on the Jets. Ramondre, for me, if you can sit him this week, I think that's probably, for me, I have him in a few leagues. I'm going to be sitting him.
That's fair. KP is saying he is starting him over Montgomery. Whew, tough one.
I would not do that.
but he said he will report back.
Montgomery and Kyler Williams are like the same back. They just score touchdowns.
They just score touchdowns, man.
They do.
Just play them and they will score a touchdown.
You can't sit them.
Stevenson is fool's gold. If you could trade him, I would trade him. That is the only reason he was relevant is because he had 2 touchdowns.
Oh, moving on, my
Hey, Matt,
guy, and I
break
yes,
my
yes,
heart. Break my heart about my guy with your RB sit-em.
So don't get me wrong. I loved what he's been doing lately. He's been getting pretty good workload. New Orleans and Carolina, 14 and 17 yards, 88 carries, 88 yards, 44 yards against Carolina, 2 TDs against New Orleans. Been catching a little bit of the ball out of the backfield, but those defenses are pretty soft. This week coming against Baltimore is going to be tough. I'm not so sure if Baltimore gets up quick, then the game script will change, and I don't know how much work he's going to get. Uber talented kid. I like what he's doing for Denver. Just this week, I think you got to sit him.
He was almost
it's just tough.
He was almost my sit.
Definitely tough. Definitely tough. Yeah, Justin, but we're going to get back to that in just a second. So we're going to get back to KP's question in the chat. Moving on to wide receivers, Mr. Tillman. I had Mr. Tillman a long time ago in a league, so in a dynasty league. So I'm excited, Justin. Tell us what you got for this week.
It's just funny because, like, again, I was listening to my podcast and like Tillman came out. I remember his rookie year did absolutely nothing. I remember those 2 Tennessee wide receivers with Hendon Hooker. It was Jalen Hyatt. And Cedric Tillman, and they were that Tennessee team was really, really good, super fun to watch. Did they have Jalen Wright too?
Yeah, they had Wright. Yeah.
So like, what a fun offense, like college offense that was. But I was just thinking about that the other day. But like, let's not sugarcoat this. 12 targets against Cincinnati and 9 targets against Baltimore. Just bet on it. It seems like he's the number one. It seems like him and Jameis have something going. I think. Again, I try to look for deeper dives. He's ranked down there. Like he's down there quite a ways. Where is he at? 33 right now. So I think he has every opportunity to finish as a top 20 guy this week. Pretty easy for me.
Nice.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. I'm trying to find a guy, and I can't remember who it was, but he is a type of guy that is a little bit unknown. Yeah, that could be that, like, oh my gosh, this guy came out of nowhere. Like Latavius Bryant.
I said like,
yeah, I think that's what you said.
Just with the Browns,
like a Josh Gordon,
had that crazy year, and it's disappeared.
He's one of those guys you just have to keep an eye on, and I like it. So, DJ Moore, I'm glad you picked DJ Moore this week because again, I think there's a bounce back against this Carolina.
Let's hear it.
I do think DJ Moore. He for me, and this again lines up really well with your comment about Caleb Williams, right? Everything you said, I would echo. I think the Bears felt embarrassed by their offensive output against Washington, and I think they're going to come out and have an opponent that they can try to make a statement with. The biggest thing for me is that one, I believe the Cardinals can put up points, right? Anytime you have offenses that can put up points, I want parts of that game. So there's that. Cardinals also have allowed the 5th highest passer rating to outside wide receivers on the season. So typically when DJ Moore plays on the outside, like that's just where he plays. Okay. The Cardinals allow a great passer rating when outside receivers are targeted. Okay. They're also in the top 10 in fantasy points per game allowed to the position. So there's just a ton of upside for DJ Moore. He hasn't been really impressive for fantasy, He had one great game against Carolina, but other than that, has just been toast. His schedule really kind of turns around towards the end of the season. He's a guy that I would definitely keep in mind, and I think his upside this game is worth starting him.
I agree 100%. I'm all in on him. I'm also all in on this next guy, and I hope the Philadelphia Eagles listen to this farm kid out in the sticks. But I don't know what it is. But when Devontae Smith is active in that offense, they look like a much, much better offense. they just look tons better. He was number 7 last week. He's going up against a Jacksonville Jaguars defense that isn't very good. It's near the bottom. But tell me I'm wrong. When he's an active participant, he just looks – that offense looks better.
He's
Am I wrong?
so good. He's such a good wide receiver. I love this pick because I love Smith. I think he's awesome. I struggled with his eyes early on at prospect, and I didn't think he'd be as good as he is. But dude's just smooth, man. He's so much fun to watch play football, and he is a difference maker on that team. And I think we can all agree, how nice is it to see Kellen Moore starting to cook with that offense? You love to really think he's starting to figure it out. That added to the fall off of the Dallas Cowboys offense without Kellen Moore. I think. Yeah. Where do you think he could head? We should talk about where he could head coach next year on one of our episodes. I think he can get himself a head coaching gig.
Yep. The Bears.
I'd be all right with that. I'd be all right with it. But get Smith in your lineups this week. He's probably been in there anyway, but they just have to utilize him more. And it's going to sound a little goofy, but I would like for them to utilize Smith more and utilize AJ Brown less. He tried to keep him healthy. So let him be that big play receiver, go down end zone, jump ball, but get the ball into Devontae Smith's hand. And obviously Barkley's going to open up that passing. So moving on to Sidham. Flowers. I'm a little surprised with Flowers here. What? Tell us about Flowers. Why you sitting?
Chance, who's he playing against?
PS2.
That's all you need to know. That's my rebuttal.
Yeah.
He's playing
against
PS2.
Sense.
It's PS2 or Christian Gonzalez, guys. I've told you guys this a million times. That's where I look. Okay, they're putting in a new guy, Deontay Johnson. Maybe they want to show off their new shiny toy. Denver's defense is good. Okay, the Earth is round. Like, gravity is in effect. PS2 is good at playing corner. Like, all things. Like, what is it? Ocean covers 2/3 of the land, and he covers the other third. Like, he's that guy. He's disgusting. He is going to lock up Zay Flowers. That's just where I'm at.
Yeah, fair enough. That's an easy plug and play.
Can they contain Derrick Henry? I don't know, but I know they're going to contain Zay Flowers.
Chance, I am interested in Cooper because he played a little bit last week, and you're thinking they're getting more involved. But help me understand why Cooper's on your sit-em. Other than, is he going to play more?
Again, so this is one of those where, like, just like Justin likes to find guys that are kind of like, diamond of the rough guys to start. I'm a big fan of guys that I just have a gut feeling, but I have a few things to back this up, right? So number one, Amari Cooper with the Bills over the last 2 games. Okay, he saw 5 targets against Tennessee. He only saw 2 targets against Seattle. And I think we've watched Josh Allen just absolutely play fantastic football recently. But with that, the Bills, I think they've really shown, outside of the last 2 games have been a little different. They really do want to run the ball, shorten games, keep things on the ground, and only have to really throw when needed. Now, I do think Amari Cooper is going to break out as that big time wide receiver 1 for the Bills. And I think they're a guy that they absolutely need, not only because of what he can do catching the ball, but how he opens up games for Keon Coleman. Like, Keon Coleman's had 2 great games because he's not drawn the number 1 cornerback anymore. That being said, they play Miami, who has Tua Tagovailoa back. Buffalo's been burned before by Mike McDaniels throwing the ball all over the yard, putting up a ton of points. I think the Bills are going to want to say, hey, it's in Buffalo. We want to run the ball, jam the rock down your throat. It will throw it if we need to, but if they can keep Tua and that explosive offense off the field, that seems like such a better game plan for them moving forward to really sink Miami, put Miami in the dirt. And I mean, they already have total control of that conference or that division right now. But to me, just Cooper's utilization over the last couple of weeks, scary. And then the game script of this game, to me, I think he's a sit this week. Could be totally wrong. If he blows up, then put it on my L column for our standings. But I would, I could.
I think you're right. I think it's a good call at this point. One of the things, the Amari Cooper trade's interesting because it still feels like our Boise State guy is still going to get his looks, right? It was Coleman, right? So I'm not sure what they're wanting to do with Amari Cooper. It's just interesting. So we'll see as the season goes. Marvin Harrison Jr. is my guy. Look, he did come off a 6 catches for 111 yards and a touchdown against Miami. But I'm going to kind of roll back. I think the Bears are on alert. They're like, look, no more. We got to lock their guys down. And it's not like Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. have been on the same page a lot. I don't know. My gut says nope. I'm seeing like maybe 45, 60 yards from Marvin Harrison Jr. this week, and as a top 14. So I'm like, and I'm like you, Chance. If I'm wrong, chalk one up on the L. I'll take it. But I'm I have Marvin Harrison Jr. in a couple of leagues. So
man,
I'm rolling him out there.
I hope not. I rode Marvin Harrison Jr. I beat the second best team in Dynasty this last weekend on the back. Oh, Lineberry, there you are. Sorry, I didn't see you there. I forgot. You dropped this. You dropped this L in Dynasty this week.
Put that in your pocket.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to tight ends here.
We'll bounce back.
Final words on Marvin Harrison, Chance?
No, I think that's a smart call. I really think that with Michael Wilson's injury, they're going to really target Marvin Harrison, and he's going to struggle.
Yep. Justin Kincaid. We have talked about Kincaid. Kincaid, is this his breakout game this week?
I'm going to call it. This is his game. He's going to get 2 touchdowns and 100 yards. This is the game. This is a game where you're like, okay, Kincaid is that guy. He has his Kyle Pitts game that Kyle Pitts had last week, where Kyle Pitts had 1.5 touchdowns, but he gets 2 touchdowns now. That's what I'm calling. This has got to be his game. This has been my guy since the off season. He's just got to show out now. He's got to show us what he is.
It's fair. Gonna be a tough one, but it's fair. Hawkinson, for you, Chance.
This is one that is a little risky, but I just think that in this tight end landscape, which we had such a great tight end weekend last weekend.
Oh my gosh, 17 touchdowns.
Every weekend should be National Tight End Day. For sure. It was beautiful. It's a beautiful thing when tight ends catch tutties. It's a beautiful thing. For me, TJ Hawkinson, he's cleared. He's ready to go. He's back from his injury. And my biggest thing is that I think that the Vikings, after losing 2 games in a row, like obviously Justin Jefferson is going to get his, but I do think they need another more reliable pass catcher. He missed the end of the season last year and was still the tight end 5 in this offensive scheme. He is a really good tight end, and I know there's fears coming off an injury that he might be slow, but I really think Sam Darnold and this coaching staff are going to want to highlight him. Johnny Munt has been involved in this passing offense, and I don't think there's any question about how much better Hawkinson is than Oregon alum Johnny Munt. But to me, I think this is a great start. He's back. I have him in a few places, and I'm not even going to think about firing him up. I'm full bore. I'm full hawk for this guy.
I love it. Love the call. I think it's fantastic. He's an added bonus there for moving forward. Has to be for that Vikings offense. Look, with Njoku, I'm just riding the hot hand. He's had a touchdown each of the last 2 games. You know, when you got a hot shooter, you just keep betting with them. So I think you just do it, right? You keep rolling the dice and keep hitting those numbers. So he's against the the Chargers defense. It's mid against the tight end, but keep him out there. Keep him in the game. So that's me. Tight end sittings.
Here we go.
Otten. After Otten, we told you the week before to get him.
You're crazy, Lineberry.
Now you're going against.
Let me call my shot.
He's just mad because Otten was also on that team that took him down in Dynasty.
Yeah, probably. Kansas City worst against the tight ends, and you're going to sit him this week, and everybody else in America is starting him. So I want to hear this one.
I'm just going to call my shot and say this offense is going to be bad. Like the Atlanta got to see it. Kansas City, they got it on film. They said they have one guy in this offense, and that guy is not going to beat us. Kansas City's defense is very good. Like let's not make any ifs and buts about that. Patrick Mahomes has played awful this year. They are undefeated for a reason. That defense is legit. I think they're going to say, we're going to play man on the outside, and we're going to bracket the crap out of K-Dot. We're not going to let him beat us. Baker, you got to go to these young guys, and they got to figure it out this game, or they got to run Bucky Irving on us. Again, he's the tight end 6. Are you going to sit him? Probably not, okay? But this is my shot of the week. I think he has a bad game.
Ah, man, yeah. I mean, I love that you're calling a shot on it, but that's crazy to me. I'm so excited for that game. I go Bucks so hard on that.
I hope so. I think a lot of people are saying that. So, Andrew's chance. You got him against your Broncos.
Yeah,
you're
Mark
holding
Andrews
up.
for me. He's a sit this week. The Denver Broncos, on top of being, with PlayStation 2, with PS2, Pat Surtain being a lockdown guy, they've played great ball against tight ends. Right, the only tight end who has scored more than 7 fantasy points against them was Brock Bowers, and Brock Bowers is an absolute stud. That's what that is. So to me, I think the addition of Deontay Johnson, which adds just another mouth in that offense, and he's on track to play against the Broncos. Deontay Johnson is. He's at practice, doesn't carry an injury designation, ready to go. I think that on top of what these Broncos defense has shown they're capable of as far as shutting down the passing offense of teams, I think Mark Andrews is going to suffer. And I think he is an obvious sit-em to me just based on the matchup and the addition of Deontay Johnson.
Agreed.
Who would have ever thought, if you would have told me at the beginning of the year, hey, when the Ravens and the Broncos play each other, they'll have the same record, I would have absolutely thought the Baltimore Ravens crapped the bed. They must
got hurt or something.
Yeah. There's no way, but they're like, oh yeah, Broncos Ravens playing both same record. Let's go.
That's fair. Moving on, Komet. Komet's my guy. He's a little bit of roll of dice. I think you can go either way on him. I can tell you that the Bears offense is better. Just like when I talked about Devontae Smith, the Bears offense is better when they get Komet involved. He was tight end 50 last week. Before the bye week, he was tight end 1. And he was 21-19 before that too. So he's better when they get him involved. It's just, do you trust the Bears getting him involved? So they should, but Bears will do Bears things and they'll do stupid crap. And I'm like, well, maybe I hold him out this week, kind of see what happens here. And it's not like the Cardinals are absolutely horrible against the tight end. They're near the bottom, but I just don't know what the Bears are going to do. I hope I'm wrong on this one. I hope he's a top 12 tight end, but I'm not banking on it. So, moving on. I want to get back to KP's question. Let me scroll up here. What's your take on Dalvin Cook? Worth hanging on to?
Oh, tell us why not, Lineberry. You're adamant.
I think any running back in that offense is good. I think they're all washed. Like, it's just not good. Are they gonna have spike weeks? Sure. Like, they're NFL running backs. They're good and everything. But like, I really hope they go get ETN and see what he is in this offense. Go catch the ball, get some fresh legs in there. It's just not. It doesn't look pretty. Maybe wait to trade for ETN until next week, just because the Falcons are playing the Cowboys. But that running back room is rough. It like 2017. That running back room is nasty, but we're in 2024, so.
Yeah, to me though, did you guys find it curious that they sat Rico Dowdle?
They said he was sick and he came on the field, which was really weird.
He was on the field. None of the Dallas reporters said that he was sick or they had any idea. I think they might try to trade Rico Dowdle as a part of trade for another running back. I mean, stranger things have happened, but I think there's some weird stuff going on with the running backs in Dallas. I would still hold on to Dalvin Cook. I think he's worth hanging on to. I don't think he's super droppable yet because, again, this last week was the first week that you're trying to get him involved in that offense, and there's room to grow. And I don't think I want to say, well, Dalvin Cook's just washed. He's an old running back, but then I watch, Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara and I mean, those are all the same draft classes, Dalvin Cook. There are still some running backs out there that get it done. So maybe Cook still got a little left in the tank and hasn't had that shot yet.
So and I'll go on the other side, Chance. I think Cook is puntable. You can send. He's cooked. What I don't understand about Rico Dowdle, it's Cowboys, it's Jerry's World doing his thing. I don't understand. It's not like Dowdle's been terrible. If you remove the Cleveland game where he averaged 3.3, he is over 4 yards a carry. That's not bad. It's I'm like, what are you doing with Dowdle? And I'm going to assume that he had, he's had the illness, had the bug, or whatever you want to call it, and they had to sat him, and you had to start. Man, you got to get the oil can out for Ezekiel Elliott and let him kind of work, which proved to be not good. But I'm with Justin. I think they go get a running back, but maybe hold on to Dowdle. It's not it's not like he's horrible, but for some reason, it's Jerry's World doing Jerry's things, like I said. So
Khalil Herbert would be fun in that offense. Like I said, Travis Etienne would be fun in that offense. Like I said this last night, there's not 32 running backs better than Khalil Herbert. I still believe it. I think he deserves a shot. I think he'd be super cheap, maybe a 6th round, maybe a 7th round guy. They need to do something. They need to inject something in that offense, or they're in big trouble. I don't think anybody's going to catch Washington in that division. It's going to be really hard. Philly's going to come on strong. Dallas has got to do something, or McCarthy's going to get fired.
I think Dallas, they have to realize
he's already going to get fired.
They have to realize they have time. Like the NFC is not great right now. Like there are so many opportunities for them to really turn it on and still make a playoff push. Like that's what's wild to me. It feels like very few teams are dead in the NFC right now.
No. It's mostly the NFC North
sure.
that it feels like it's going to take a lot of those wild card spots that are just, but they might cannibalize each other. Like, I don't know. Did the Bucks keep losing games? NFC West, like the 49ers, I don't know what they're doing. They have a tough schedule.
The Rams looked good again after getting their players back.
Now, but they're in last place, right? In that division, which I mean, like you said, like it's week 9. It feels like it's a long ways away, but man, there's still a lot of football left. They need to do something, or they're just dead in the water.
Yeah, agreed. Hey, if you got questions for us, man, ask away. I do want to bring up a couple of guys. Chance, you weren't on last night, but I want to talk about trades a little bit and guys that you might be wanting to get. So let's hit that right now while people are asking questions. A couple of guys that we talked about last night were Hill, right? Going to get Hill, going and getting somebody like I just lost his name. Wide receiver for Houston.
Nico.
Yeah, Nico Collins. Go get those guys because I think you can get them for a reasonable price, and I think they're going to skyrocket. It's only a matter of time before Hill blows up. Give me a guy that you would be interested in go getting right now for a reasonable price that maybe people are sleeping on.
I got a couple. I have a couple just off the top of my head. I think my number one right now would be Michael Pittman. I think Michael Pittman would be a great player to go get. He's really been disappointing. And a lot of that is, to me, just associated with Anthony Richardson. Now that AR is shut down, at least for the foreseeable future, I think Joe Flacco is going to sling the rock. And they paid Michael Pittman like he's a wide receiver 1. He's been their wide receiver 1 before. I love the emergence of Josh Downs, but I still think there's so much room for Michael Pittman to go be the guy in Indianapolis. And I think you could get him now before he really starts to see targets from Joe Flacco.
I agree. I like it. I like it a lot. What would you trade for him?
Man, trading for him? Yeah. I'm just trying to think.
It's tough because of
receivers that I would trade. Receivers I would trade Zay Flowers for Michael Pittman right now. I would trade Deontay Johnson for Michael Pittman right now. Like there might be some excitement around Deontay on a new team that you could move him pretty easy for Michael Pittman.
Khalil Shakir.
Yeah, I'd move Khalil Shakir for Michael Pittman for sure.
Ridley.
Who?
Ridley. Calvin Ridley.
No, I would hold Ridley.
Hopkins.
Hopkins was my other guy that I was going to say I would try to go get. Between those two, I would want Pittman.
Okay, I got 2 more. Jamison Williams.
Pittman.
Darnell Mooney.
Mooney. I would want Mooney.
Tank Dell.
Pittman.
Ooh.
You know I love Tank
That
Dell.
was a tough
Pittman.
one for you to say.
That was tough
Yeah.
to say Pittman, but it's got to be Pittman.
And above Garrett Wilson.
Man, Garrett Wilson's really come on since Devontae Adams got there. I mean, Garrett Wilson has been a sneaky good. I still would go Pittman because I feel like the Colts are going to be more competitive and have more to play for as the season progresses than the Jets. I think the Jets are not bad. I mean, imagine if the Jets lose on Thursday night and they're 3 and do they have 3 wins? The 2 wins. They're bad. The Jets. They have 2 wins. Oh my gosh! Like what an absolute poverty franchise.
They are not good.
I would rather have Pittman than Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I think if you're going to get a guy like Pittman, now's the time to do it. Just do it right now. I agree. A guy that I want to talk about briefly, and Justin, I want you to kind of come up with a guy because we talked about those 2 last night. Kenneth Walker. I think you should go get Kenneth Walker. I like him. Chance is like,
Can't Walker,
I
baby.
want Kenneth Walker. Chance, not because I need him as my number 1 guy. I want to get him because people like you are down on him.
No,
and if I can get him for a price,
you are so wrong.
I will do that.
You are so wrong.
It's loves Ken Walker.
I love
Okay.
I'm a huge Ken Bone guy.
It's love Ken Walker.
K9 from Michigan State. When Lineberger and I first became friends, I introduced myself by saying, "Hey, have you heard of
Demon Deacons?
Ken Walker?
Demon Deacons. He's
Oh,
Demon
yeah.
Deacon.
I only open my eyes. I would be surprised if you could get him. He feels like a guy that
Yeah,
I would
be too.
I would love, Matt, for you to tell me guys that you would trade for him, and I'll tell you, like if
On the running back world,
I got some.
Yeah,
I got some for both of you. Since you guys
Okay,
want to talk
Lineberger.
about him.
yeah.
I would do
Brees.
Alvin Kamara, and if I need to do Alvin Kamara and some change, I would do that.
Mhm.
And
Would
Alvin
you do
Kamara's
Brees
still up
straight up
there.
for him?
Joe Mixon. No, Brees is my number 1 running back. There's not a chance in giddy up. No. Where's my exclamation point? No.
That's how I feel about Kenneth Walker, though.
That's fair.
Achane?
But there are.
Oh, that's a great one. Achan or Ken Walker,
Hmm,
Matt. I know mine.
I think I'd take Ken Walker.
I'd take Ken Walker.
That's a tough one for me,
Yeah.
man. JT.
That is very tough.
JT.
I would take JT over Ken Walker because
I would.
I don't think they have as many pieces on offense. JT's the guy. But I think EJ's still the number 1 offensive weapon for them.
The thing of what I'm trying, my point is to get across here is that Kenneth Walker is down in some people's eyes. They're tired of, he's kind of a little bit touchdown dependent. And it's like, they might be tired of him or they need to make a big move. And I'm thinking you can get him for a reasonable price for sure. So go get him. We talked about this about Gibbs probably in week 7. Go get Gibbs. He's not doing much now. You can't get Gibbs. You're not going to be able to get him. He's too big now. So guys like that. Justin, you got a guy that you're thinking you can go get that you would need to have on your team as we get before these trade deadlines?
Dude, I don't know. Like I said Trey McBride last night. I think he hasn't scored a touchdown this year. I think owners might be kind of pissed off about that, but he's like the tight end 5 right now. I think people are lower on Brees than you think just because that offense has been really, really bad.
Oh, yes.
David Montgomery is so consistent. Like, if you can go get him, I think you should. He's another guy I think you can. Those are a few guys that I think you can get. I was on Tyreek Hill last week. I still think if you can still buy low on him, I think his price is probably a little bit higher, but I think me and Chance both had Dolphins players, or at least all 3 of us said Dolphins players. I think you should go buy that offense right now. Still, they didn't have a crazy great game, but Tua is such a catalyst of that offense.
Yep. I think another guy you could get is Xavier Worthy. I do like him for a late push.
I like that.
I think you need to go get him if you can get him. If you guys online are watching, think guys that we need to get, I would love to hear the feedback, or we would love to hear the feedback. And Chance, yes, I think we do want to go through a trade that you have in your league that I'm interested in hearing. So
I just this is one of those where, like, as we get closer to the trade deadline, and sometimes our listeners are like this, if you're winning and you're cruising, you're like, man, I don't want to make any trades because I feel really good. And then there's the inverse of that. Guys who have had a really bad season and they feel like, man, why am I even going to make trades? I'm not doing anything. In one of my leagues, I'm 2-2. I have 2 wins. 2-6. Yeah, I was trying to do math quick and I farm, so I can't do that. I'm 2-6, right? I'm in last place in this league. And I have the 3rd most points scored for my team, and then the 1st most points against by like 110. So like it's been such a weird year. Like I have outscored almost everybody, and I'm 2-6. And I said to myself, do I keep trading and working? And of course, I know that I can still make the playoffs at 2-6. You know what I mean? Like it's very rarely is it over. So here's a trade that I got in that league where I want to stay competitive. I was offered DeAndre Hopkins and Raheem Mostert for Isaiah Pacheco. And I'm just curious, a trade like that where I would be getting players that would contribute right away for a player that, as of right now, is sitting on my bench when I don't know if I'm going to make the playoffs. Is he worth holding on to?
Say that one more time. Pacheco for
DeAndre Hopkins and Raheem Mostert. And I understand that you're like, well, I don't care how you feel about those players, but there are guys who have good players on their IR that they need to know what to do with. Do you sit on them? If you're in a win now mode, are they worth getting rid of for players who will actually contribute to your team? And that's where the trade's tough for me because I can't score any fantasy points with Isaiah Pacheco.
So my thoughts on this trade is Pacheco's out 6 to 8 weeks. Okay, earliest he comes back is probably week 11 against Buffalo. Did they probably play him against Buffalo? Probably not. Carolina is week 12. Playoffs start week 14, 15 for most leagues. So at best, you're going to get 2 real weeks out of him if you don't make the playoffs. So like in a situation where you are 2-6, you like as someone that's played fantasy, like you don't have the luxury of sitting on IR guys anymore. That's the biggest thing. Like those guys are like sunshines and rainbows. Like, oh, I can't wait till Jonathan Brooks comes off. Like, I can't wait till Cooper Kupp and Puka came off and they've done some things. Like, I can't wait till Nico comes off. Like, if you're in a bad spot, like, see what you can get. Like, Raheem Mostert should be a big part of that offense, and I think Hopkins going to have a lot bigger role than people think because Patrick Mahomes came out and said it. I think he said he is Travis Kelce at wide receiver. Like, he will run the spots and get open. He understands that. He's a smart receiver. He understands route concepts. He understands coverage concepts. Again, he's not going to run routes. If you look at whenever they do the next gen stats, like it's not going to be a route tree. It's going to be like squiggly lines everywhere, find the open spot. And I think he's going to have a huge role in that offense. So I personally would probably do that, knowing that I'm 2-6 and I might get 2 weeks. If they're bullish on starting Pacheco early.
And they might just save him for the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like if they have playoff aspirations, it would not shock me if they only start to ramp him up weeks 15, 16, 17, instead of risking it.
That's where I was going to go with the Chance. I'm glad you said that. I don't mind that trade, but I want to go to the guy that's winning the league, right? I want to go to somebody who's for sure in the playoffs and see what they got, right? What can you steal something from them that I say steal, bargain with somebody that where they're going to make it. It's like, hey, you don't need this guy right now, but you might want him in the playoffs because you're going to be there. And what can you get from them? I don't know. It's not a bad trade. I'd shop them around a little bit more and see what you can get. But that's tough. I have a league that's very similar. I'm 1-7. Most likely, I'm not going to make the playoffs, but unless I win out, it's just I've taken everybody's best points against me. I'm number 1, and I'm mid pack with the with points for. So it kind of is what it is. I already traded Josh Allen in that league. I certainly have Breece Hall in that league as well. Picked up a couple of guys that's helped, but it's been tough. So anyway, lots to come. I mean, we're pushing the playoffs. We're more importantly, we're starting to hit that trade deadline. coming up in the next few weeks. So you got to keep that in mind. But
So
I think we're going to call it a night for. Go ahead.
One thing I just want to hit to get Chance excited about this, since Marvin Harrison beat me last week. So Guillotine still in it, still alive.
Love that.
I don't know how I'm doing it, but we're still in it. So we had waivers clear last night, and I don't know how this happened, but so Marvin Harrison is the guy that got guillotined. I got him for $100. Super excited, but the guy that I was really excited. So I'm gonna start him. I think he'll be okay. Tyrone Tracy was on.
Hey, yo, let's go.
I got him for $10.
I love that.
I was like, let's freaking go. So
That's
that
crazy.
league's been super fun league. I got Ken Walker. I got Javonte Williams. Like, I mean, my team has shaken out pretty well. I'm relying on too many Denver guys, which is stressful with Cortland too. So
yikes. Yeah, yikes.
Yeah.
It's all right. One last thing before we go, I'm going to ask you guys, Tank Dell or Cedric Tillman starting this week?
Tillman.
Yeah, Tillman.
Tillman over Dell.
I think Tank Dell draws Sauce Gardner. And,
It's true.
I mean, he's going to draw Sauce because there's nobody else there. And I think it's going to be really hard on him. And I get it. They have to, they're going to play football and you're going to get the ball thrown around a bunch. But, I like this question.
This is a good
question from Smells.
Woo!
Oh, man.
I'm not even thinking twice.
This is
I want
tough.
Gibbs. I want Gibbs. I want
straight
Gibbs.
to Gibbs.
Give me-
Straight to Gibbs.
Yep, I want
Really?
Gibbs. Give me Gibbs right now. Yes, I want Gibbs. He's the more.
Wow,
he's got the
this is
highest
tough.
ceiling and the more for sure floor to me. Now it depends on the rest of your team, but if you're going to take this in a vacuum, I want Gibbs.
Okay, I just want to look real quick at Tyrone Tracy's end of season run. Washington, Carolina, a bye, Tampa Bay, Dallas, New Orleans. Like Tyrone Tracy up until the playoffs has a really good run though. That is
Gibbs has got Green Bay, Houston, Jacksonville, the Colts, Green Bay. That's his right before.
Yeah, I think there's the part of me that loves watching football in this trade that says, just give me Jahmyr Gibbs because I know he's going to be good. I'm going to love watching him play. He's on a super fun offense, and I know it. But then, I mean, DK has been a really good wide receiver when he's healthy, and Tyrone Tracy is really coming on. So
This team is ridiculous.
Yeah, this might be a grandma league. It smells love you, but man, you got a really good team here.
How do you have McBride and Pitts?
Is this a 10-man? Is this 10-man? This is a 10-man league.
it's an
It's an
8-man
eight-man
league for
league.
sure.
With that, I'm telling. With that, I really do want Gibbs. With that setup, I want Gibbs. Easy.
Yeah, so if you're playing in a smaller league, it's not about that. It's about studs. You need as many studs as you can get.
Yeah.
You need those, not just like the second tier guys, those wide receiver 24 to 13. You need the wide receiver 12s and ups, the running back 12s and ups, and Gibbs is rest of the season he's top 5 guy. 10 team full PPR. What the frick? You need to trade one of those tight ends.
Yeah. I would try to get a quarterback. You've got if that's all your quarterback is right, and that's all I'm saying. Just Love. You need to move. You need to Love's injured. You need a backup quarterback, and you got a lot of firepower to do so. Get Gibbs, and then try to get yourself a quarterback.
Yeah, I would trade for Gibbs with your running backs. Your wide receivers are okay. Metcalf has been this year's DJ Moore, as Chance has alluded to. Like he's had a lot of spike games and a lot of just trash games. So.
You might think I'm crazy, but here's I would look to move some guys for
He gets pretty
I don't
solid
think you
and
can
Giovanni.
yeah, I think you can get Patrick Mahomes. I think you can get Patrick Mahomes with a couple of moves.
Why would you want Patrick?
Why would you want Patrick Mahomes?
Why don't you
He's
go get
such a
Dak?
bad fantasy quarterback.
Go get Dak.
He's not going to be.
Oh,
Go
bold.
get
He's not going to
Daniels.
be.
This isn't the bold takes episode, Matt.
I would go get Patrick Mahomes. That's just me for sure thing. But you can get those other ones. But
I
Looks
would try
good though.
to get Josh
Looks
Allen.
good.
See that guy. Josh Allen's that guy.
Yeah, get Josh Allen too.
You got a lot of tradable assets. It looks like, but if you can get Gibbs based on how many guys you have, like your depth is it's nasty. Like you can go get a stud.
Yeah, wish you the best, Smells. Go get him. Accept that trade for sure. Take it and see if you can get an upgrade in your quarterback
Smells,
to your liking for
if
sure.
that's a 10-team league,
$1,000
league. If looking at how your league mates draft, why don't we make it a 12-man league and we can get a couple of us in there? Because based on how the rest of your league drafts, let's go.
Yeah, look, you did well in your draft, or you did very well trading this league. So great job, Smells. Well, gentlemen, we're an hour 10 into it. I think we're going to wrap it up for tonight. We will be back next week. Man, it's been a lot of fun. We really enjoyed the interaction from you guys. Just asking questions. That's why we're here, trying to help you win your fantasy football leagues and get those bragging rights. So with that being said, Chance, any last words?
Hey, just going back to my league being 2-6. If you are in a league that you are like, man, I'm 2-6 or I'm 3-5, you don't have to worry about being the best team in that league. All you got to worry about is sliding into that last spot. So check to see how many playoff teams your league allows. See what it takes to get into the top 6. Don't panic yet, right? Just keep making trades, keep picking players up off the waiver, keep praying to the fantasy gods, because it is so doable to still make the playoffs at 2-6. I'm sure the person that's the last one into the playoffs probably has a losing record or is close. Not everyone's balling out in fantasy.
Nope. Justin, anything on your end?
Falcons have, I think, the only team in the league right now with two number one wide receivers, number 1 running back, and a number 1 tight end. Just 2 top 12 wide receivers.
Yeah, they don't play Tampa Bay again this year. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do when they're bad the rest of the year because they don't have a quarter of their game?
We're leading the division. That's all I can ask for.
You're right. I'm not gonna poop on you because my Broncos are surprising me also. You know.
There you go. Kirk Cousins is him.
Yeah, hopefully the Bears right their ship. I got nothing else for you guys. Thanks for hanging with us. We'll see you guys next week, and best of luck to you guys all this weekend on your fantasy football teams. All right, everybody, we're out of here. Later.